and welcome to the Healing Stream Reflection. The title for today's post is Affection and Reflection. Beloved, the changing world seems to lack love and compassion. Even the current war going on in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas depicts that there's so much hate out there in the public square. Therefore, the question that we need to ask is that what is it that rises up in the human heart and moves people to give towards children and human beings who are being destroyed by terrorists, especially towards a child in need? I believe it's compassion, yes, love, definitely, empathy, often, for purposes of the current situation going on in Israel. We are beginning to understand that virtues and emotions, together with hatred and all other things, seem to send mixed signals. However, let's gather all those virtues and emotions together and call them affection, especially one of the ways of Christians, especially those who in the midst of this current war situation are trying to help humanity. The dictionary says that affection is a tender feeling towards another, a disposition to feel, do, or say. We normally think of affection as being toward a person we know well, toward whom we show affection with a hug or a kiss. Affection towards loved ones is certainly appropriate, but it is not only toward those we know well that we can feel tender or be disposed to feel, do, or say kind things. David, the king of Israel, directed his affection towards the temple and demonstrated it by giving sacrificially towards its constructions. 2 Chronicles chapter 29 verse 3. Paul encouraged Christians to be kindly affectionate to every member of the church. Romans 12:10. Paul also felt great affection for Christians in Philippi, Philippians 1:8, and expected them to be affectionate towards one another, Philippians 2:1. And by all means, husbands are expected to be affectionate towards their wives, 1 Corinthians 7:3. So affection is appropriate in a wide range of situations. But like unconditional love, affection can be a challenge in some circumstances. Consider the affection Joseph was expected to demonstrate towards his fiancée, Mary. He was engaged to her when he discovered she was pregnant, even though by Jewish law, he will have been justified in making a public issue out of apparent infidelity. Deuteronomy chapter 22, 23 to 24. He chose what was best for her, returning her quietly to her parents. Matthew 1:19. That step will have been a challenge to Joseph's affections, no doubt. But then he was challenged again And God revealed to him that Mary's pregnancy was by the Holy Spirit, that she had remained pure and righteous, and that Joseph should remain married to her and become the father of her child. While Joseph was sorting out this information, deluge of information and feelings, his affection for Mary won the day. It was no doubt a difficult situation, having to weather the stares and gossip from among those who could not understand what was going on. Beloved, this Christmas, you'll be around lots of different people, family and loved ones, acquaintances, strangers and others. Towards some, your affection will be generous and easy. For those, don't take their closeness for granted. Be lovingly affectionate at a special time of the year. But for others, your affection may be a challenge. Perhaps they are people you don't know well. Or perhaps there are some you know all too well. Some with whom you are brought together by the holiday social scene. May I encourage you to be kindly affectionate to them. Like love, affection must be unconditional if it is to be real. The same way God's affection and love are towards us. Conditional affection may go unexpressed because the conditions are unmet. If it is expressed, it will likely be formal and stiff at best, and hypocritical at worst. When you read the story of Mary and Joseph, you begin to understand the concept of affection, even in challenging times. This Christmas, my dear brother, my dear sister, you are going to understand that your affection will require a tender spirit towards others and a predisposition to teach out with love and comfort. This Christmas, show your affection to all. A gift, an embrace, a letter, a helping hand, a visit, a kind word, not to mention an act of reconciliation or forgiveness where needed, will go a long way towards making this Christmas a most loving one. Affection, a way of Christmas that brings givers and receivers together in a new and tender ways. Like love, affection must be unconditional. Beloved, that is why Christmas has really become very, very important when it comes to reflection. How do we reflect? At times, we need to reflect, because Christmas has really become a hopeless model of confusion. The humility and the poverty of the stable are somehow confused with the wealth and indulgence and selfishness of gift giving. The quietness of Bethlehem has mingled with the din of shopping malls and freeway traffic. The soberness of incarnation is somehow mixed with the drunkenness of this season. Beloved, the paradox of Christmas is heard in the sounds, the honking of car horns, the jingling of bells, the laughing of kids or children, the strains of the carolers, Not only that, even the whole of department store Santas. It's all part of the frenzy of the season. Yet, the best Christmas moments are the quiet ones, and the best reflection of Christmas take place in the mirror of our own hearts. Brothers and sisters, Luke tells us exactly how to celebrate Christmas, and who better than Mary herself to set the example. Luke chapter 2:19 says, "But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart." Pondering is a word worth pondering. According to the dictionary, it means to weigh in the mind, to think about, to reflect on. This describes a biblical pattern for the psalmist wrote, "Reflect in your heart and be still. I will reflect on all you have done and meditate on your actions. I reflect on the work of your hands." Psalm 4 verse 4. Brothers, Ecclesiastes chapter 7:3 tells us that sober reflection is good for the heart. These are lots of ways to practice the act of personal reflection during the holidays. The final moments of the day are often the best when the kids are in bed and we walk through the house. A final time to turn off the lights and lock the doors in the darkness with only the twinkling glow of the Christmas tree lights. It's fun to sink into a chair, hand curled around a cup of cocoa, and ponder the ageless wonders of Christmas. It's also wonderful to gather the family around the tree for a traditional reading of the Christmas story, perhaps on Christmas Eve. I grew up hearing the Christmas story told in the classic language of the old King James Version, and to me it's still beautiful. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Luke 2:1. Beloved, reading those words to my family can still be a tear to my eyes. How wonderful to arrive early for Christmas Eve services and sit quietly in the pew listening to the strains of the organ, or relax at our desk as a candle flickers in the darkness, or to get up early on Christmas Day to watch the sun rise briskly in the east. How wonderful to reflect on the timeless story of Jesus, keeping it in mind and pondering those things in your heart. It's one of the best ways of Christmas. How wonderful to reflect on the timeless story of Jesus during this Christmas. May the good Lord bless you and reflect with such affection, knowing that those moments help you and I to be at peace with ourselves, be at peace with God, and be at peace with our neighbors and all. God bless you, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.